It is time now for the Sweetheart program, brought to you today by Hereford Feed Ingredients.
Mr. and Mrs. Gary Freeman are our New Year's sweethearts. Betty Freeman retired on her birthday, December the 15th, from the Muleshoe ISD, where she worked for 34 years in the cafeteria at Muleshoe High School. She was first hired by Gene Whalen. Her husband, Gary, retired earlier this year in February from Agri-Tex Gas. Betty was born in Amherst on December the 15th, 1951, to Elwyn and Naomi Julian. She has a sister, Jamie Cunningham, who lives in Lovington. Betty Julian went to school at Three-Way. Gary was born in Martin, May the 25th, 1951, to Clifton and Belen Freeman. He has two sisters, Sandra Waltrip of Lake Buchanan and Linda Hogue of Florida. Gary went to school in Whiteface. They met at his sister Linda's wedding. Betty Julian and Gary Freeman were married on July the 11th, 1970 at the Three-Way Baptist Church. They first lived in Odessa after they married, but that was just for a few months. And then they moved to Muleshoe, where he worked at Muleshoe Electric for Ansel Ashford. Gary then went into the U.S. Army, serving our country from 1971 to 1974. He was stationed in Germany 2 of those years, and Betty followed him and lived there in Germany for a year and a half, and that is where their first son, Gary Don, was born. Then they came back to Muleshoe, and their second son, Chad, was born here. He was the first baby born by natural childbirth at our local hospital. Their first child was born in Germany by natural childbirth, so Betty wanted her second child to be born in the same manner. So she explained what to do to Dr. Homer Allgood. Both boys grew up here in Muleshoe and went to Muleshoe schools. Gary Don now lives in Gardendale, that is between Midland and Odessa. He works for an auto parts place in Midland and is married to a former Muleshoe girl, Julie Teal. And Chad lives in Lindale, that's near Tyler, and he and his family members are missionaries with the Youth with a Mission. He is also married to a former Muleshoe girl, Crystal Howe. Make sure to watch the interview on Meet Your Neighbor with Chad and his family. Gary and Betty Freeman have 4 grandchildren, 3 granddaughters, Zane, Avonlea, and Brianna, and 1 grandson, Michael. After returning from Germany, Gary went back to work for Muleshoe Electric for a year and then worked for 23 years for Pioneer Natural Gas when the office was located here in Muleshoe. He worked with Pesky Wynn, Barbara Blackman, and Patsy Chance. When the new company took over, they wanted to move him to Lubbock, but he wanted to stay in Muleshoe, and so he became the manager of the Bailey County Propane for the next 3 years, and then worked for a company locating underground gas lines. For 7 years, he worked for Agri-Tex Gas, retiring earlier this year. He likes to tinker and build things, and they are homebodies. They are also members of the Calvary Baptist Church, and we wish for you, Betty and Gary Freeman, happy retirement years, and you are being honored as our New Year's sweethearts by David and Liz Tips at Hereford Feed Ingredients and all of us here at Channel 6. Happy New Year and happy retirement
The Sweetheart program has been brought to you today by Hereford Feed Ingredients. You can find it on Reach Broadband Channel 6 in our rotation. Also, muleshoetv.com on our website. Click on the Sweetheart link at the top of the page. If you'd like to nominate someone to be our Sweetheart here on Reach Broadband Channel 6, muleshoetv.com. Call 806-272-3990. We need a short biography and a picture.